So I have a Yamaha S90 mini system unit here in for repair today. The problem with this one here is the CD player, which is a CDC S90, is not working. Now, these units, as you can see, there's the tape deck. I'm not a big fan of these units that have the power supply and everything all in one box, because if something breaks down, well, you have to bring everything in. You can't work on one piece without the other. Can't work on the CD player without the power supply, and vice versa with the tape deck. So the whole system has to be brought in to work on. This one's got a problem with the CD player. I'm going to open it up. There's some discs rattling around the side because the guy that brought it to me didn't bother to take the discs out before he moved it, and well, that's what happens when you've got the rotary tray type CD player. So before I can do anything, I got to take it apart and take the discs out. So here's the problem when you've got these CD players that are carousel type. Is you can't transport them without removing the discs, or you run the risk that the discs are going to fall out like they have on this one. One disc is clamped in place, but the other discs are loose. So anybody who's got these units, before you transport them, take the discs out. Now I can plug this thing in and see what it's doing. Apparently the CD player is not working, so let's take a look at it. So when I press play, that's all you hear. You hear a clicking sound and the disc rotates. So I guess the first thing I need to do is to take this disc cover off so I can see what's going on underneath there and see why it's not reading the disc. Remove a couple of screws to the side here. Two more on the other side and the two on the top here. I should be able to remove the disc clamp unit. And see that the laser is trying to focus. I can see it here. Laser's definitely trying to focus, but the disc is spinning, and it wasn't focusing. So we'll first try cleaning off the optical pickup assembly. So this unit just keeps trying to focus even when it's when there's no disc in it. Let's clean off the top of the lens here. Then I'm going to remove the magnet from the top of the disc clamp. So I just do that by just holding the bottom of the magnet, turning the top metal plate, and then it'll lift off, and then I can drop the magnet down. Put the magnet, put the counterweight back on. Now I should be able to just drop the disc on it, and drop the magnet on, and see if it will actually spin up and play, which is not. But we can see what's going on here. We can see the gear here is trying to move the optical pickup. And it keeps trying to move the optical pickup in, or try to move the optical pickup out. It looks like it's sticking, right? If we look at it here, you'll see that gear, you can hear it clicking. It's trying to actually move the optical pickup out, and the optical pickup appears to be stuck. So let's see why it's stuck. Take off the disc clamp again. It appears that the unit is now playing. Looks like the optical pickup was stuck. And it is playing. So what it looks like happened on this unit is the optical pickup got stuck. Now this unit comes off a boat, which doesn't surprise me, but it looks like what happened is the optical pickup got stuck all the way in. And what was happening was the motor was turning. You can see the gears meshing, and the optical pickup got stuck. Here it is, it's stuck again. If I give it a bit of a push, it can move it out. Now it might be this gear is damaged. That's my suspicion. is that one of the teeth on this gear is damaged. Either that or the rails need to be greased. Let's try taking the thing apart and greasing the rails. That's the first thing to try. So open it up, and we've got a slipping belt. So we've got more than one problem. As you can see, the tray won't open. So we have a slipping belt to take care of on this first. After a bit of work, I got the unit to open. I'm going to take the power off this thing now before it closes, or you can just pull the belt. There we go. I can just pull the belt, that way it won't try to close on me. At least it won't try to close right away, and we'll see if we can get this old belt out of here. Okay, I have a worn belt here. Let's see if I can find a belt that will fit on this thing and see if we can solve problem number one on this Yamaha. Here's the original belt. I've got another belt here which looks to be like it might, it's not stretching like this other one. This other one's kind of melting and getting really kind of soft. So let's try putting this other belt in and see whether this one will provide me with enough enough torque. I have another smaller belt, but it might be a little bit on the small side, so we'll just try this one first. I'm trying to get it in the teeth here, between the teeth. That way I can try and get it around the pulley, which is easier said than done on these things, without taking the whole mechanism into tiny little pieces. I don't feel like taking the whole thing apart, although this tray might come out relatively easy. Some of them do. Some of them come out easy, some of them not so easy. Let's see if this one's one of the ones that comes out easy or not. Looks like this one won't be too hard to pull the belt in place using a dental pick. It'll slide around the pulley quite easily here. Now, we'll see whether this will open and close. Okay, another belt in there. Let's see if this one will work. Yep, this one works fine. Got lots of torque to pull it in. Okay, so now we're just going to open this up again, and now I'm going to shut the power off. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to unplug it because I want it open when I do this. So I'm going to shut off the power. I want to be able to get at the optical pickup unit with the disc tray extended. Now I can get at the optical pickup here. I want to lubricate these rails on the side here because they get gummed up. That would be these metal. That would be these metal rails here. Because as you can see, what happens is the optical pickup goes in all the way like that, and then it gets stuck. And when the motor turns this way, it doesn't bring it back out. So it gets stuck in like that. And then this is what happens, you see, when the motor's trying to pull it, and you hear it go click, 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 click. They're dry. They're very dry, and they're sticky. Like I rub my finger along here, and this is really, like, it's sticky. You can feel it. Same with this one. It's not slippery at all like it should be if there's a grease on there. So that's what I think the problem with this one is that the laser just gets gummed up. And it goes in all the way to trigger the end of travel switch, and it gets stuck there. I'm just going to clean off the rails with isopropyl alcohol, and then we'll just re-lubricate it, because I can access the entire path here. Clean off the old gummed up dried grease, and we'll put a new coat. I'm going to let the alcohol dry out here first too. But then we'll put some fresh lithium grease on here. As you can see, it's pretty gungy. So let that dry, and then I'll put some new lithium grease on this stuff here, the Molykote PG641 grease. This is the stuff that Mitsubishi used to supply with their capstan or pinch roller repair kits for their VCRs. As you can see on the other bench here beside me, where is it here? I guess you guys can't see it. You have to turn it a bit towards you. But this is the Samsung that I changed the main board on, that was going into that shutdown mode whenever I press the volume buttons. As you can see, it's still working. It's been going for several hours now with that other main board. By this point in time, it would have gone into fault and would have shut down and gone into the power cycling. So I'm pretty confident that that one is fixed. That one was a pain because I've had it sitting here for a few days, and I was turning the set on and run it for several hours. When I changed channels, I was changing channels on my cable box, and I just had it running with the volume turned down. I wasn't listening to it right. And I would just leave it turned on, and while I was working in here, turn it off and turn it back on and let it run again. I was running the thing and running the thing and running the thing, and it wasn't until I had it running with some sound on it. It was actually when I went to start working on part 2 of that Yamaha mixer, which isn't ready for to send out yet, because the first part that I got from China, they pulled it out of another unit, as you'll see when the video is published. I'm having a dispute going on right now over eBay with the seller. It was a pull, and I commented on that on the video, that you could see where it had been unsoldered. The pins had solder where you could see where it had been actually taken off a board. And they didn't do a very good job of cleaning it up, and it was DOA. So I'm right now have a dispute filed with the vendor to either get my money back on it. Even if they give me my money back, I'm still out a pile of money, because that was the one that which I'll talk about in that video. But PayPal effed up big time, and rather than take the money to buy the part that was in my PayPal account, those boneheads tried to debit it from my bank account that was linked to them. The problem is, the bank account that is linked to PayPal, I only use for receiving funds, and I transfer the money out as immediately when someone sends me funds for something. I don't leave the money in that account. And those idiots, rather than take the money that was sitting in my PayPal account, decided to debit it from my bank account. And my bank jumped on immediately. They seized that opportunity to send me a $48 overdraft charge. So even if they give me my money back on the part, I'm still out $48. So I'm kind of pissed. I'm pissed at the supplier for sending me a defective part, and I'm pissed at the incompetence that is PayPal. They're just idiots. I'll talk about that in the other video, but I'm just letting this one dry, and then we're going to get some new grease on this one. It should be probably safe to do that now. So I'm just going to put some grease here on these rails. I just wipe it on with my finger. You don't need a lot of this stuff because it's really slippery. And the problem with grease is that it will attract dirt, right? So you don't want to have excessive amounts, because it will gum up, especially if the thing's not being used. That's why it's always a good idea, if you've got devices that are mechanical, try to keep using them on a regular basis, because what will happen is they'll get dirty and they'll get gummed up. See, now it's not sticking. So now what I'll do is I'll put the magnet back on. Whatever I did with it. And we'll put this thing back together and test it. So to put the magnet back on, I just unscrew it to release the catch like that. The magnet sits up. The disc clamp magnet, and then the top piece goes back on it and just locks into place. Now we can put the disc holder back in place and put a couple screws in to hold it in place, and then I can test it and see if it works. My guess is it'll work just fine. Of course, I always grab the wrong screwdriver. I'm just going to put these 2 screws in for now to test it. We'll load a CD. I'll put it in disc number 2 and we'll power this thing up. Okay, let's try playing this. I'm just going to press the play button on here. Find it. Where's play? Open, close first. And we'll hit play. And it should go. I'm on the wrong disc. I got to go to disc number 2 here. There goes to disc number 2. Playing disc number 2. Here's the headphones over the camera. Sounds like it's playing to me. I would say that this one's fixed. So what was our problem? Well, we had a slipping belt for 1, and 2, I had to lubricate the rails for the CD laser assembly. There's the old belt. Hope you enjoyed this video. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.